Luke chapter 20, verses 20 through 26. This comes on the heels of Jesus giving a parable to the rulers of Israel about stewards who try to kill the son and take the vineyard for themselves. He had spoken this against them, but they could do nothing about it. They had no power. They had no authority because the crowds were on Jesus' side. So they're going to come back, and this is attack number 2. Attack number 2. And the goal this time is going to be sneaky, to be subversive, and to get a different power to bring Jesus down since theirs was inadequate. Keeping a close watch on him, they sent spies. Notice this close watch on him. He is in the temple, which means they can see him anytime. Jesus is not hiding anything. So why do they have to keep a close eye on him, right? We should be kind of thinking, why are they keeping a close eye on him? Jesus is not doing anything secretly. And then number 2, they sent spies. So the second thought we should have is, why are they taking a different way of doing this? Why would they decide to, instead of attacking Jesus head on, why would they use this method of sending spies? So we'll continue. These spies pretend to be sincere. Okay, that's describing these spies. And then we get their intentions. This next sentence is going to explain all of our questions from the previous one. They hoped to catch Jesus in something he said so that they might hand him over to the power and authority of the governor. So in attack number 2 here, in attack number 2 here, instead of using their own authority, which has been very weak to this point, they are going to use the power and authority of the governor. They are going to use Roman power and authority to accomplish what their own authority could not. And we also get the answer to why they are keeping a close watch on him, because they are hoping to catch him in something he said. They want to get Jesus tripped up in a passing comment and say something against the Romans, say something against the governor. And this would allow them to use the Romans to get Jesus in trouble. This little point, by the way, is really significant because it shows us that humans so often scheme and devise ways in which they can control a situation and ignore God's control. Let's see how well that works out for these guys. So, right, with this as the backdrop, what do? So the spies questioned him. Teacher, we know that you speak and teach what is right, and that you do not show partiality, but teach the way of God in accordance with the truth. Notice here that we've gotten 3 different compliments. Teacher, we know that you speak and teach what is right. That's 1. 2, that you do not show partiality, but teach the, that's number 2. You do not show partiality, but teach the way of God in accordance with the truth. Now, 3 ways of really getting to the same thing. The idea here is Jesus teaches what is right, what is true, in accordance with good doctrine, that you don't show partiality, that it doesn't matter who's in front of you, you're going to speak the truth regardless. You don't care if you're talking to Caesar himself or just some widow in a town in Galilee. You are not showing partiality. And not only do you teach what is right, you teach the way of God. The followers of early Christianity, by the way, were followers of the way. This is a lifestyle, right? It's not just good doctrine. It is a living, a active life that is in accordance with the truth. This is high praise. This is high praise. It's also dishonest praise. We know that they are pretending to be sincere. So they bring in with this flattery, right? And Jesus sees right through it. Here's their question. Is it right for us? And this is interesting, right? Because when you ask this question, is it right? You're bringing in morality, and you're also bringing in the Word of God. Okay, so is it right for us to pay taxes to Caesar or not? And when you bring up Caesar and taxes, now it becomes a political issue. And in this place where our morals connect to our politics, there have always been challenges. There's always been difficulty. There's always been strife. And in the context, so that you guys understand the context of Israel at this time, the tax in question here, so I'm just going to, we'll underline this whole thing. What is the context? What is the context? Why is it disappearing? Stay there. Stay. Don't go anywhere. Okay, what is the context for this? The first thing you should note that this is not a use tax like on goods or on trade or anything like this. This is a personal tax paid directly to Caesar. Whoops. So this is something that everybody has to give to Caesar. They would pay this in a denarius, by the way, which is why Jesus is going to bring up the denarius. The denarius had an inscription on it which called Caesar, who was Tiberius at the moment, son of the divine. This is the son of God. So one of the Jews would say, particularly those who didn't want to pay this personal tax to Caesar, I mean, they didn't even want to carry denariuses with them because the denarius had that inscription on it. But two, they didn't want to give Caesar any money. And so some would make the case that to give Caesar a coin and with this inscription, all this is idolatry. And therefore it would be wrong for us to pay the tax to Caesar. So this was an argument of some of the Jews at the time. And so they are baiting Jesus with this one. The goal is to get Jesus to fall off on one side or the other of this issue. If Jesus says it is right for us to pay Caesar, he's going to lose the support of the people, which would be great for them because the people are the reason that they're not the people are the reason that they're not arresting Jesus. But also, if Jesus says it's not right to pay taxes to Caesar, then that gets him in trouble politically. So in their minds, Jesus is either going to get in trouble with the people or he's going to get in trouble with the Romans. But in either case, this is good for them because Jesus' authority and power is undermined and they will get a better way of bringing him down, right? So that's the plan. This is the plan. This is the plan. The plan of the leaders. Okay. Let's get to this next part. Verse 23. Jesus saw through their duplicity and said to them. So, by the way, don't ever try to trick God. He knows the heart. He's going to see through it. I mean, this was pretty obvious anyway, but he sees through it. And he said to them, show me a denarius, right? The Roman coin that has Tiberius on it, calling him the son of the divine, whose image, and he brings up the inscription, whose image and inscription are on it. That's the question he throws to them. They reply, well, Caesar's, right? It's Tiberius Caesar. He said to them, this is his instruction, okay, for us to listen to as well. Give back to Caesar what is Caesar's, and to God what is God's, okay? This is his answer. Very simple. Show me the coin, whose image is on it, whose inscription is on it. Caesar's, they respond, okay. Then give that denarius back to Caesar. Give to Caesar what is Caesar, and to God what is God's. Now, this is something that Paul will unpack very thoroughly in Romans 13. The right of governments to tax their people and the obligation of Christians to pay those taxes. When Jesus says give back to Caesar what is Caesar's, what is he talking about? He's talking about this tax up here. He's saying that, hey, while you're on this earth, under these worldly rulers, taxes is what you owe them. And it's proof to you, the proof to you that you owe them this taxes is because their faces are on the money. Their inscriptions are on the money. So just give to them what is theirs. But that does not mean that Caesar gets ultimate allegiance, right? And so Jesus deals with the idolatry thing that people, wondered, is this idolatry? And Jesus makes very clear, no, you're giving to Caesar what is Caesar's, but we're not giving him worship because we give to God what is God's. We keep our worship of God, of Yahweh, number one. Worship is still number one. All of life goes to God. But as we recognize that all of life goes to God, we also recognize that God sometimes puts worldly authority in our lives. We are to obey them, not for the sake of Caesar. We are to obey them for the sake of God. And when our eyes are on God and we're focused on God, and we give respect or honor or taxes to our human authorities for that reason, we honor God. So what does God deserve? He deserves my worship. He deserves my praise. He deserves honor. And that's what we are going to give him. So what Jesus does in this is he perfectly disarms these two traps in this question. Is it right for us to pay taxes to Caesar or not? There are two traps in here. They're looking for Jesus to fall off the wagon on one side or the other. And Jesus doesn't. His answer, give to Caesar what is Caesar's and to God what is God's, perfectly sidesteps both of those issues. So there's the trap, and Jesus foils their trap. And then we get one last verse. They were unable to trap him in what he had said there in public. Notice that. Said in public, there's all these witnesses. Everybody heard it. This is important. Later in the book, we'll see that one of the accusations thrown at Jesus is that Jesus said, don't pay taxes to Caesar. Obviously, Jesus said the exact opposite. And everybody heard that. That's why the trial of Jesus at night is such a sham of a trial, because the witnesses can't even agree on what was said. They were unable to trap him in what he said there in public, and astonished by his teaching, they became silent. Jesus' answer to this question was so simple, so true, so compelling, and at the same time, it avoids the snares. That these guys are like, okay, what do we do? I mean, what else can we say? What other questions do we got? We just threw our most subversive question at Jesus, and he absolutely trumped us. Astonished by his answer, they became silent. They can't argue with how perfect of an answer Jesus gives. They're shocked by how well it avoids the snares, and so they got nothing now. They just walk away with their tail between their legs. This gives us some guidance on how we are to relate to our earthly rulers and authorities. But more than anything, let's remember what's happening in all of chapter 20, that Jesus is proving himself greater than their attacks. This is attack number 2, and Jesus wins yet again. He is the conquering king.